All right, ladies, so we're going to record this. It's going to be party planning. It's going to be some tips and tricks for you. Hopefully you'll find it really helpful. I posted in the event for Stacy's team the questions that you may have and things that I can go over for you to really help you out. And then my team is on here as well. So just in case you don't know me, I am Lindsay Contini Stevens, and I am out of Ohio. I am a senior director with Pure Romance, and I'll be honest, I feel like just recently I've been able to finally grasp party planning and have a good gauge on it. So if you've ever felt like you were just fumbling through it, I've been there. In fact, I will admit in the beginning when I first started Pure Romance, I didn't do any party planning, and I don't know how I made it through the first year. I had no idea what it was. I didn't understand the importance of it. And honestly, a lot of times what I would do is I would book a party and then I would call the hostess the week of and hope we were still on. I didn't do Facebook events because when I started, nobody really used it. So it's evolved a lot, and hopefully you'll find this to work for you. It is very basic. It is bare minimum. It is not overcomplicated. It's designed to be bite-sized information for your hostess and for your guest to help get the ball rolling and help set the tone for your party. So I am going to share my screen. I have a little PowerPoint, a little presentation put together for you ladies that you'll hopefully find helpful here. And it's got a lot of visuals. I don't believe in death by PowerPoint, but I want to make sure you can see everything, and I will gladly share all this with you ladies afterward. So party planning magic. First things first, if you don't have a party planning doesn't matter. So we want to talk about getting bookings. And I know some of you mentioned it. Where is the easiest place to find bookings? At the party, right? It's where people are most excited. They're having the most fun. They're in a relaxed environment. They're very approachable then. So you want to be doing a booking game at every party. And I'll admit, I noticed that when I don't do a booking game, it takes a big hit. If I do, I usually have 3 to 4 parties coming in. And 3 to 4 parties is what you want every party. That means your business is growing and expanding. Plus, it helps keep you ahead of the game for cancellations or postponements, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. If you're fairly new to the business and you're not sure how to even get these bookings, fill out the Who Do You Know list or the top 50 list. This is really great. It's a mind jog that's going to help you think of all the different women or even men in your life who can lead you to a party. Remember, men can't attend a party, but they can definitely hook you up with women in their lives. So their girlfriends, their wives, their sisters, their moms. It doesn't matter who it is. They probably know somebody that they can refer you on to. And if you approach it professionally and in a manner that is not raunchy, then it'll really come about. If you go up to a guy and be like, I want to sell your wife or your girlfriend some sex toys, they may or may not be put off by it, and it's going to set the tone for things to be awkward. So approach it by, hey, I started this new adventure. I would love to hook your wife up with some goodies and discounts. Do you mind if I reach out to her? Or ask for her number, or if you know her, you can just kind of ease into the conversation that way. If you feel like you have dried up all your resources, your friends are not helping, God love our friends, sometimes they just suck when it comes to booking parties for us, right? They're sometimes the hardest people to do parties for because they just take it for granted and they don't realize how much of a job it actually is for you. So if your friends are not up to par for this, go out and find new people. You should be meeting new people. So think about what you do every day. Do you take the kids to school? If so, talk to other moms that are there when you're dropping your kids off. If you have a dog and you take them to a dog park, strike up a conversation with people while you're there at the park. It's getting nicer out especially, so a great way to meet people, and people are coming out of hibernation. If you grocery shop, look for female cash registers or cashiers. They are always who I'd go to. I try very hard, nothing against men, but I want to talk to the ladies because I want to give them my business card and have a business conversation with them. Same thing when you're going through the bank, the post office, any errands you run, anything like that. Literally just change your mindset. I promise you, there is a whole array and just so many people out there that you can get a party with just by opening your eyes and paying attention and having a conversation with people. Some of my best parties have come from flukes of just talking to people out of sheer courage. I will admit, I've been in business for 7 years, and it is still awkward. Like, there are times where I'm like revving myself up and have to have my game face on, do jumping jacks and the power poses before I go ask somebody. One of my best parties came from somebody I met tailgating at a Luke Bryan concert, and she had over $1,000 party with me. I booked 3 parties off of that, and I signed 2 girls because of it. So get out there and talk to people. It's scary, but most people are really excited about it. And then vendor events. Vendor events are huge. So there's tons of springtime, mommy boutiques and bazaars coming up. Everything you could possibly think of is doing a vendor event. And there's some that you can get into for relatively cheap for 25 to 35, 50 bucks. And that's a great way to meet new people. And even though they may not bring in tons of people, 20 people that you meet at a vendor event is still 20 more people than you knew before you walked in. Not including all those vendors that you can connect with. Some of my best networking has come from slow or shows where there's not a lot of people, but I can really connect with the other direct sales vendors. I've gotten great parties off of it. I have had new team members, and I find other shows and events to do. So make sure you're keeping an eye out for that. I know in Ohio especially, in Indiana and Michigan, there are tons of Facebook groups around us that cater to that. So you can find vendor events all over the place. So keep your eyes out. And then 5 contacts a day. This is something that I took from another sister consultant. You should be touching 5 people with your business. And I don't mean that in any provocative way. I mean, you should be finding 5 new people every day to hand your business card out. So if you're hitting 5 business cards out every single day, think about the numbers game that you're playing. It is a numbers game. So not everybody's going to be interested. Not everybody's going to be at the right time. Think about how many times you get a sale from Kohl's in your email and it's got your coupon on it. And if it's just not the right time for you, you forget about it. It doesn't mean you don't like Kohl's or you don't want to shop there anymore. It just isn't the right time. So when you're constantly giving out these business cards like this, you're making your numbers work in your favor, and eventually somebody's going to come back around to you. So when you're getting your coffee, give her one. Again, at the bank, dropping your kids off at soccer practice, if you play volleyball or bowling, anything like that, give them away to people there. It's just the more you pass out, the more people know about your business, the more they can refer you on, and the more parties you can find. And it's just like I said, it's a numbers game. And I hate to think of it that way because we don't want to think of people as numbers, but the more you pass out, the better odds you have of getting more parties. So something else, let's get bookings right now. So if you feel like you've struggled and people just aren't picking a date for you and you just can't get them to settle on it, this is verbiage I use, and I will copy and paste this into the events for you guys. But think about it this way. Well, actually, let me read it and then I'll explain it. So, hey, Jackie, I was just thinking of you crazy fun girls. How have you been? It's been so long since we partied. Would you girls be up for a Pure Romance Bash on Friday, April 8th or April 15th? Let me know. I've got secret incentives for you. The reason I do it like this is because if you tell somebody to pick a date and get back to you, think about all the distractions in their life. Their kids, their dog, their spouse, their work, their extracurricular activities, school, whatever it may be, they're going to get distracted. So even though they may have the best of intentions, when you give them a full-blown calendar to choose from, it also tells them there's no rush. They don't have to move quickly on it. You're not in high demand. But if I give her 2 dates, she's going to look at them and be like, oh, the 8th doesn't work, but the 15th does, so I better jump on that right now while I can. It prompts a response, and it helps get them into action sooner rather than later. So you can do this with any dates you have open. I do a lot of it with my Wine Wednesdays. I really promote that. I never thought people would want to do weekday parties, but I'm telling you, my record-breaking parties have been on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Weekends are tough. People have so much stuff going on. It's hard to get everybody together, and it's easy for people to flake out. What else do you have going on a Wednesday usually? Not a lot. You drop the kids off at soccer practice. Maybe you make dinner. Maybe you just hang out by yourself with your cat. It doesn't matter. A lot of people don't have as much going on Wednesdays, and they're more likely to come out to a Pure Romance party. So I'll post this verbiage for you, but this is a really good way when you are struggling to get bookings. Use it and just give them 1 or 2 dates. 2 to 3 is max. Don't overwhelm them. They see 2 to 3, they're going to look at their calendar, they're going to see if it doesn't work, and it's probably going to respond or get a response out of it as opposed to being ignored like a lot of times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you ladies through my whole party planning process. So you can tweak this how you see fit. You can take bits and pieces of it. Obviously, what I do may not work best for you, but hopefully it inspires you or helps you brainstorm and think of something new. So this is going to start from the fact of I booked a party with her. So say it was at a party. I met her. She decided to pick a date. How do I manage it and go forward with it? first things first, I want to put it in my calendar. So I've put her in my calendar. She's in mine. I personally use Google Calendar, just easier for me and works best for my lifestyle. Then what I do is I use a spreadsheet. It is very basic. I literally just have a document that's called Party Planning Tracker, and it's how I keep track of all my hostesses and what I've done for them. Because if you're anything like me, you may have a busy lifestyle or a busy day, and you can't remember who you've talked to or what you said to who or who's been sent what. So this is designed to help me. It is shorthand, so obviously you can see create FB is create Facebook invite. Some of the things like down here are very shorthand, but when I talk through it, it's gonna make a little more sense. The hostess name is across the top, so I've got Sarah's party, Ariel, Belle, Jasmine. I always use Disney princesses. I don't know why, it just seems like it should be that way, and that's what happens. So what I would do is I would come in, and as soon as I create the Facebook invite, I would put done and the date there for her. But we're going to come back to that. That's just a sample of how I track it. Also, how I track it is I do old-fashioned to-do lists. That's how I keep track of myself, and I highlight things as I am done with it. So, for example, Belle has a party. I need to schedule her Cinch share. I need to create a link for her, and I need to create the RS, which is a red stamp. It's a red stamp invite for her. Once I do those things, I highlight it off. That tells me what I've done and what I need to do for her still. Same thing for Jasmine. Once I schedule Cinch share, I link it, or I give her unique link after entering her party in the queue, and then red stamp. I track the same things here, so it's a little redundant, but it just keeps it fresh in my mind. I work off my to-do list every single day. It's the first thing I look at, and at the end of the night, I come in and just dump everything I could possibly need to do for the next day there too. So it just kind of keeps me on track. Excuse me. So the next thing I do is I create the Facebook event. You don't want to rely solely on Facebook because not everybody uses it. And plus, think about how many events you get invited to every week and how much that information just gets buried and lost in Facebook. So this is just one of the channels we're going to communicate with our customers. So you create a Facebook event. If you're not sure what it looks like, this is what it prompts you when you go to create event in your Facebook. Upload a photo. I can't stress this enough. If you don't have a photo there, it doesn't polish it off. So make sure there's a really nice, fun, classy, non-pixelated, so non-fuzzy picture that's going to be attention-getting and get them excited. If you have the Media Center, which you should because it's amazing, you can download images right from there that you can use for your event. Make sure your event has a name. So mine always say like Belle's Pure Romance Bash, Jasmine's Pure Romance Bash. Her address, it's always a private event. And the guest can invite more friends to it, which makes it even better. And then I have a description. I use the same thing. I just copy and paste it every time and use the same verbiage over and over again. To be honest, most people don't read it, but every so often you get a lady that does, which is really exciting. That's how you create your event. So what are you going to do to keep the event going? You want to have it be fun. You can't just create the event and then let it sit. It's not going to work that way. People are going to forget about it. In case you don't know how Facebook algorithm works, the way that it is when you create an event, people who say going and maybe see the post, people who do not respond don't see them ever. So this is going to help get people engaged. The more posts you see, the more you update the event, they get notifications. They'll see posts in their news feed sometimes, but it just kind of depends on how Facebook is doing it that week. It changes quite frequently. So the basics, what are you going to post? These are basic posts that go in every single. It's my first and my last post in the event. So I stole this idea from Stacy Berkheimer forever ago, and it's the raffle tickets at the party because I had problems with getting put in Facebook jail. I don't know if anybody else had that. If you're not familiar with Facebook jail, it's where if you send too many friend requests, they go unanswered. Facebook tells you that you're being a spammer, and they put you in Facebook jail, and you can't send messages for about a week or so, or plus, like a month, if you keep doing it. It's happened to me. I'll just be honest, y'all. So this is my way around it. So they get a ticket at the party if they add me as a friend on Facebook. This also sets the expectation. So bring a dish or a drink to share. Reason I do that is it takes some of the stress off the hostess, but let's think about it this way. Have you ever had somebody coming to a party and she's made the penis cheese ball? It's very common. You can't back out if you make a penis cheese ball. You know why? Because you can't feed it to your kids because it's weird because it's phallic shaped. So if you're making something, you feel more obligated to show up, especially if it's a phallic shaped object. Same thing with, if you told your girlfriend you're bringing the salsa, like, I can't back out. I told her I was bringing the salsa, and then they're not going to have salsa to dip their tortillas in. So it makes people more accountable. If they bring an outside order with them, so if they have a girlfriend who couldn't make it, but she still wanted to order her coochie and skin therapy and things like that, that's going to get her extra tickets. And then if she picks a night to have her own Pure Romance party with me, she gets 10 tickets. Sometimes that helps getting parties ahead of time. Most people don't seem to realize it, but they usually add me as a friend and do the others. And the last thing I post after all the weeks of party planning and everything, which you'll see those posts next, but the day of the party, I post this. It's just reminders. So who's so ready? We're having an amazing time at the Pure Romance party. Here's your final tip. So remind them, 18 and older female, no kids, no men, no babies. The party closes that night. You can look through the products ahead of time here at my website or the flip book. We're going to have a blast. Bring your best girlfriend. So just as last minute reminders to keep them excited. But how do you keep them interacted and having fun? I know somebody asked me this on the event, like how do you get people engaged? You need posts that are going to be interactive, fun, engaging, that only take a few minutes to respond to. So people only, if it takes more than like 10 seconds, they're not going to do it. Just think about our attention span anymore as humans. And then again, back to the Facebook algorithm, the more comments and likes that a post has, the more people see it, the more it shows up in news feeds, the more it stays fresh in their mind. So here's some of my interactive posts. And I will gladly post all these to you. So these are just really basic stuff that I did. So which do you prefer, A or B? They can just comment really quickly, A or B, very simple. What is the worst pickup line you've heard? In case you're wondering what mine is, I have been told that we would make beautiful children as long as I worked out every day after I gave birth. Annie had a girlfriend. It was a really terrible pickup line, did not work. Obviously, he's not around. But that's a fun thing to get people talking and excited and engaged. And people love to share stories, plus you get to know them ahead of time. Which would you rather prefer? A chef, nanny, housekeeper, personal trainer? I personally want all of them just because it makes life easier. But it's a good thing, again, to get people talking. So these are interactive posts. I have so many of these I use. I switch them up for the different parties because if people are at the same party or in rotation, they're going to be a lot of my parties. I don't want them to see the same thing every time. But these are good. You want to mix them up. You don't want to make every post interactive. It should be, expectations and information, and then interactive posts every 3 posts usually. So setting expectations. I know some of you had talked about this with party attendance and guests and shopping. We don't want to be free entertainment. I don't know if you've ever had that happen to you. It's happened to me. It's a total drag when you walk in and you realize that they just want you for free entertainment and games and they have no intention of shopping. So this is where my party planning has really changed to set expectations up front so we're on the same page. I tell my hostess, I even kind of joke about it, like, we don't want to make all the food and have you get all the wine and never just drink it and not shop so then you don't get your hostess credits. Like, we don't want them to take advantage of your free wine. We want them to have fun and shop. So you plant seeds ahead of time. It's going to help them prepare financially and mentally. So if there's someone who needs to budget or they're waiting for payday or they need to save some money from payday, this gives them those reminders ahead of time. So one of the big ones I do now is treat yourself to 150 of goodies and receive a bonus gift. If you've been to one of my parties or you've heard of Country Clubbing Your Business that Heather Pillow talks about, this is where I do the VIP and the Elite program. So 150 gets you a free gift, 250 means you're elite, and you get 2 free gifts from me. So I set that expectation before they even shop with me. Actually, before they even come into the party. Having your own girls' night helps our fabulous hostess. So I do the envelope booking game at every party, and that's how I get my more parties. So if you're not familiar with it, the little envelope has got a coupon inside, and it's got 3 Post-it notes on the outside. So it's party 1, party 2, party 3. And what I do is if 3 ladies decide to have their own party, the hostess gets the exclusive coupon inside, which is $100 worth of product for $49. So basically $51 off. For me, at my buying discount, I really don't lose anything. At a 45%, you lose just a little bit, but honestly, if you're getting 3 bookings, it's worth it, and it's a write-off at the end of the year. So again, I post this ahead of time. It helps set that expectation because people want to help their girlfriend. They want to get them excited. They want to do a favor for their friend. So this is good. This has helped me get parties ahead of time before the party that night, actually. And it's nice, too, a little tip, when you're at the party with the hostess, let me back up, the envelope booking game, give it to your hostess and make her in charge of it because she'll do the work for you. She can be more aggressive than you can, and not put people off. So my last party, my hostess worked hard to get her 3 parties booked. And I'll even let them text girlfriends who weren't there, friends who couldn't make it, and try and get bookings for me that way too. Other expectation ones is lingerie. So I show them that we have lingerie. Lingerie, if you're carrying it, is one of the most socially acceptable things in our catalog, and it's one of the higher end price points. So, you know, we've got everything from $39 to $69 for lingerie. They can see it ahead of time, and then they come prepared to shop for lingerie, which kind of means like, okay, mental note, I might find some more nightgowns that I want, so I should probably budget for that. This one's huge. Accepting cash and card. I do not do checks anymore. I've been burned, unfortunately, by checks, so it was a personal choice. You can totally accept checks. I do it occasionally. If it's somebody I really know well, or it's a good customer that's been with me for years, I will accept one. For the most part, I don't do it anymore. Cash and card only. But again, that sets the expectation. And that is also going to be on the invite I send out via Red Stamp. So that's how you do your Facebook party planning. And we're going to go into text message party planning. What this does is this is where you're going to text your hostess and you're going to send her little bite-sized tips. So this way she just has them in easy to read format, nothing too difficult. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is I am going to do questions for that Facebook segment first, and then I'll go into the text part. So let me figure out the best way to unmute you guys are. Oh God, this is going to be dangerous. I'm going to unmute all of you right now. Okay, who has questions on the Facebook that I just shared, the Facebook part of this? Anybody? It's okay if you don't. I just want to check before we go to the next part. Okay, next. So if you went to Empowerment Summit in January for Pure Romance, you may have seen how to text your hostesses party tips. I personally don't send hostess packets anymore unless it's requested. And that's just because I found most people didn't read them, unfortunately. I tried email ones. They didn't read those. They were too long, too wordy. Again, people's attention span anymore is crap, to be honest. And so you got to get them with short little information. I don't mind that the information repeats itself from Facebook to the text message because you may have read it on Facebook and already forgot. And it usually takes people 2 to 3 times to retain information. So party tips for your hostess. The first thing that always goes out to her is her invite that she can send to her girlfriend. So it's got a cute little picture. If you're not familiar with Red Stamp, just go to redstamp.com or download the app. It allows you to make cute text images that are adorable. So this just always says the date, the location, can't make it, shop ahead of time and help your fabulous hostess. Cash and cards accepted. All guests must be 18 plus ladies, no men, no babies, no children. Very basic. She sends it out to all of her girlfriends. I recommend she does not do a group text unless it's replied to her individually because people really hate group text. I don't know if you've ever been stuck in a group text, but when everybody responds, sometimes it gets frustrating. We don't want to set the party off on a negative tone. The next one is the most important tip I sent her. This is really big. I hated when my hostesses would say this phrase, just come, you don't have to buy anything. And you're just like, no, don't say that to her. You want her to shop. You want her to find things she wants. So this is the second tip, I guess you could say, that goes out, and it says, never, ever, ever say the following to the guest. Just come, you don't have to buy anything. These words instantly tell your friends that their time is going to be wasted, that the party has nothing of value to them, and that you don't stand behind the products, or you don't think she's going to find anything that she wants. Chances are your friend's going to come, she's going to love coochie cream, she's going to get excited, and she's going to purchase a couple things. And that's ultimately what we want because we know our products are great. We know they have value, and of course we want everybody at the party, but we also don't want to be the free entertainment. So this is just a good way to set expectations right from the start, and that's always the first full-blown tip that goes out to my hostess. And usually they agree, and I kind of make the joke there, like, we don't want her to drink just all your wine and hang out and not shop and get you goodies. And I tell them, you know, the average hostess has an $800 party, which means $80 in free product for you. Next one, I'm going to kind of go through this a little quick because I'm going to share them all with you. When chatting with your friends, try something like, have you ever been to a Pure Romance party? Oh my gosh, they're so much fun. Their products are so amazing because blank, you'll absolutely love the consultant. She knows her stuff. This gives her verbiage to say to her friends. And this is nice because a lot of ladies have told me they just don't know what to say to their girlfriends to help get them excited for the party. If you've ever noticed, the more excited your hostess is, the better the party usually goes. And the more invested they are, and the more there's a theme, and they have like party food planned, it goes over usually a lot better. More perks, you deserve to be spoiled, right? So if 3 of your girlfriends decide to have their own Pure Romance bash, you get an extra incentive from me the night of the party. And so that's just reiterating the 3 party bookings and the way to keep your party schedule full. Hostess perks, you want to tell her what she gets. So this is mine. I do a bonus gift, which is the free gift. Shopping's free based on the party total. She gets 35% off the diamond collection if she wants, and then 25% off everything else. It's a little too wordy. I think, honestly, it's going to be modified. But I tell them at the party, like, look, if you want the executive, you get them at 35% off, and everybody gets jealous. It's an extra perk. And then again, it reminds her, $800 party equals $80 shopping spree for you, and what a qualifying party is. Having her think of different ladies in her life. So this is invite more people, you know, have you invited your hairdresser, the selfie queen, the football fan, your newlywed, your neighbor, everybody like that. Keep them thinking about different women who would want to be at the party. And the party always closes the night of the show. I do that because I have a hard time getting outside orders afterward. Occasionally I'll let it stay open, but usually I find people don't order afterward. If you've noticed, a lot of times what they do is say they'll order, and oh, bring me a catalog from the party, and they have no intention of ever placing an order. If they shop ahead of time, they're usually more serious. Reminding them, don't forget, we'll need a table for the presentation. A coffee table, card table, doesn't matter. I've got a tablecloth, and then a separate room to do shopping. And I bring the traveling boutique with me. So it sounds more scaled up and classy. It sounds a lot cuter than inventory, which sounds boring and drab. And it helps get them excited again. I actually started carrying a TV tray in the shape of a football. It's just one I got from a garage sale. Instead of taking a full-blown table to my party anymore, I just keep that football TV tray in my car and put a tablecloth over it. So if I'm in a tight quarters, she didn't have a table or anything like that, it's a great way to just take it in and put my mild stuff on, and then I pull out the toys from my bag as I talk. So really good tip for you guys if you need a little extra incentive. Party tip, women only. So I don't know if you ever had this issue where people surprise you and their husband or their kids are still in the house. When you get there, I make it very clear throughout all the party planning process. Where are the kids going? What are they going to do? What's your husband going to do with them? It's a nice way to remind them that they need to get the heck out, and we're doing ladies' night. Important party notes. This usually goes out the week or 2 before the party, so it reminds her no men, babies, kids. Due to allergies, I don't do parties where people smoke in the house. I hate the way that it gets into the toys and the lingerie. It's nothing personal. I don't mind if people smoke at all. I just don't want to do parties in homes where smoking's allowed because it makes me miserable and I cry and it's sad. And then all guests must be 18 and older, so very important, just reminders. And then the week of the party, I have this go out, usually for parties like on a Friday, it goes out on Monday. And I send her the verbiage to literally copy and paste to her guests to remind them for the party. So I say something like, hey, Susie, I can't wait for your party. Just a reminder, send a text out to your girlfriends so they don't forget about the fun. Remember, the number one reason that ladies don't show up to parties is because they forget about it. Here's something you can copy and paste. And what I send to her for her girlfriends is this image and a little verbiage that says, hey girl, I can't wait to see you Friday night at my party. How many girlfriends are you bringing with you? Do you notice what I did? I asked a question. And then it also makes her think like, oh my God, should I be bringing people to the party? Maybe I need to find a girlfriend to come with me. And if that's the case, she's going to go and find a friend, a mom, a sister that'll join her. So that helps get your party attendance up as well. Something else I do is I Snapchat my host, and I'm going to give you guys a warning. Don't Snapchat raunchy things to your host. Don't make sure your Snapchat's clean if you're going to do it. But sometimes I'll do fun things like coochie stock for the party. Here's the boutique packed. Usually send her a selfie when I get in the car and I'm driving her way. New products coming out next week. I'm going to send her Snapchats, all my upcoming hostesses, Snapchats of like just a peek, like 3 seconds of what the new line looks like, just to tease her and give her some foreplay. But it's a different way to connect with her. Because remember, just because you do Facebook or you do phone call or you do text doesn't mean your hostess does. I recommend doing at least 2 channels of inviting guests to the party. So I usually do text and Facebook, email and text, whatever it may be along those lines, which is really important. So post-party, just some post-party care things that I do. I always go back in and post how much I made at the party. So for example, this is a post I put in. It says, ladies, thank you all for such a great party last week. Your orders are coming and you should be delivered to you by midweek. Food for thought. Our fabulous hostess received over $60+ in discounts and freebies. As a consultant, I made $195.25 for the night. Know someone that could use this extra money? Let me know. I would love to help get them started. So just plants a seed again for people who want to be a hostess, for people who want to be a consultant, and then just lets them know that obviously their stuff's on the way. Just a good way to recap after the party. And then send out thank you notes. Thank you text. Send out thank you text within 2 to 3 days to everybody who attended the party. Just says, thank you so much for coming. It was great to meet you. If you need anything or have any questions about your products, seriously feel free to give me a call or shoot me a text. And I save their number and I add them to Snapchat, because that's just an extra way to keep in contact with them. Facebook, Snapchat, texting, all of it. I want to keep them, I don't want them to ever forget me. I don't want to be their one night stand. After the party, make sure you deliver products quickly. So if you tell them it's going to be there within 2 weeks, you better get the stuff there to them within 2 weeks, if not less, because you don't want them waiting. And you know how excited people get. Have you ever had those ladies text you like the next day asking when their stuff's coming in, even though you told them like 8 times the night of the party? People really want their stuff soon because we did all the foreplay at the party. We got them all excited, and now they got to wait. And that's sad. Make sure you add your contacts to the coup. This is going to help them keep in contact with you, keep in touch. It's going to make it easier down the road to find more parties and keep that calendar full. Post the thank you that I showed. And follow up with leads. So if there was somebody who was too drunk to book a party with you the night of the party, I've had that a few times where the girl's like, look, I want to party with you. I'm too drunk to even pick a date. Follow up with her then. Give her a call, shoot her a text, and then always send your hostess a thank you note. A handwritten thank you note goes a long way. I honestly just keep them at the side of my desk over here, and I just pull them out. They are pre-written. My girls know this. We do this all the time. So in case you can see me, I don't know if you still can, I have like thinking of you cards. They're pre-written. They just say, thank you so much for an awesome party. You girls were a blast. And then I put their name in. I write them down when I'm watching TV with my husband. And that way it's just easy and it streamlines things. So that's some post-party tips. Participation in events. So I know some of you were concerned about like how to get people in there and how to get them going. Post engaging posts. That is a huge thing. But don't overpost. So if your party's not for a month, I'll post 2 to 3 times a week. The week of the party, I post once a day just to keep it fresh in their mind. Don't post like 8 times a day or 5 times a day. People are going to really get annoyed and hate you a little bit. Like, I mean that in the nicest way possible, but it's just honest that a lot of people will get annoyed and be like, oh my God, she's so, there's so many posts. I don't know what to do. Having the hostess help them get excited is huge. So if you don't see any interaction, have your hostess tag a friend and be like, hey, Susie, what did you think of this? Or what was your first concert? Or who's your celebrity crush? And that gets them going. And like I said, once the hostess gets excited and gets everybody ramped up, it usually goes better for the party. Don't rely solely on Facebook. Again, make sure you're texting. You have the option to send a message out, a private message to every person who has an RSVP. So this is a good thing to do like 2 days before the event. Private message them and say, hey, hon, I'm the consultant that's doing Susie's Pure Romance party this Friday. I didn't want you to feel left out. Just want to make sure you saw the invite. Will I get to meet you this weekend? And always end the message with a question, so it prompts a response of some sort. One of the other things that ladies said they had trouble with was how to increase attendance at the party. So if you have a hostess that has like nobody coming, and I've had that happen twice this week. I actually had 2 parties canceled because none of my tricks worked, unfortunately. There's some great things you can do. Unfortunately, sometimes people just bail on their friends and don't show up to parties, and that's sad, and it's unfortunate, and you probably have had ladies that have been really upset about it before. So you want to encourage everybody to bring friends. And so if you notice that original post said, if you bring a friend, every friend that you bring gets you 3 tickets into the drawing. I didn't think women would get that ecstatic over tickets, but they're vicious about them. Like, they fight over tickets. I don't know if you've noticed that. People are cutthroat about their tickets. So do the ticket game. It's huge, and make sure you post about it ahead of time. And I usually post another thing that says, like, don't forget to bring your girlfriends. Have your hostess that sends out a message that encourage friends. I have this right here. It's called the Crash the Party Red Stamp. So if I'm in dire need, I'll send this out. Let's make the party even more fun. Whoever brings the most 18 and plus girlfriends with them will win a special extra something from the consultant. How to get your girlfriends there. Give them tips. Call them. Text them. Tell them how much fun we're going to have. Tell them they get to see the hottest products around. Bribe them with food, wine, and friends. Usually if you tell somebody like, hey, it's Wine Wednesday, I'm going to have a bottle of wine open for us, that usually kind of gets people there. It helps. Same with food. Taco Tuesday. If they love tacos, they're going to be there. Make sure you have like I said, bribe people. The magic number is about 10. So if you can get 10 women on average there, you're doing really great. 8 to 10 is right around where I am. I try and be more 10 to 15. But more people you have there, the better chances you are of having a $1,000 party, better sales, and getting more people to have parties with you in the long run. It kind of helps balance everything out. The more VIPs you have, the more elites, it's going to help boost those party totals. And then work on collecting outside orders. Like if you just aren't getting people that are RSVPing and going to the party, have your hostess send a message out to everybody with her unique link. And just be like, something quick that says, hey girl, my Puromance consultant challenged me to collect 3 orders by the end of the night. Would you like to shop, or would you help me out and shop for my private link? Just send it out, type it up for her, and give it to her. So she just has to copy and paste it to anybody that's backing out on her party. Those outside orders are going to help beef up and bump up that party total before you even walk through the door, which is great. All right, last thing before questions and answers is cancellations. They happen. I had a party cancel on me while driving there on Tuesday. It sucks. It's a bummer. Nobody likes it. They happen though. Think about it. How many times have you canceled on your massage therapist or your hairdresser where it just didn't end up being a good date? You got sick, the kids went in the hospital for pneumonia or whatever it may be. Unfortunate things like death in the family happen. The thing you want to do is you want to try and get them to reschedule. So one of my most recent cancellations was due to a death in the family. I dropped a sympathy card in the mail, and then I'll reach out to her in about a week and a half and give her some time and just check in on her. Now, I'm not going to go in immediately asking for the party. I'm going to go in and check on her and see how it is and kind of feel out the conversation and see if it's a good time to talk to her. Usually a good way to approach it is like, it sounds like you really need that girls' night, and see what she says and see what her response is. Make the best of it. So if you have a cancellation, what can you do with this time? You've already planned it to be doing Puromance. So if you have the time and it's canceled and you have to find something to do, right? You can make it a time for date night if you've been really working hard on your business. But be honest with yourself. If you're not working hard at your business and you had a cancellation, sit down and make phone calls. Sit down and send text messages out to past customers asking for reorders. Write thank you notes. Do work in your office. Work on your taxes. If you haven't done your taxes yet, or you haven't input your taxes into whatever spreadsheet or tracker you use that 3-4 hours that you would have been doing a party for this, especially if you've already got the babysitter taking care of your kids or your partner's already taking care of stuff and they already have plans. This is a good way to really capitalize on that time because you can sit and focus and knock it out. So I personally, this past week when my party canceled, I went to Target. I got some stuff I needed for World Conference, and then I came home and did team care calls and checked in on everybody who I hadn't talked to for a while. So don't let cancellations get you down. Like I said, they happen. I usually plan 1 to 2, 3 extra parties a month into my schedule because I figure cancellations are going to happen and somebody's going to have something come up where the party just won't happen, or it covers you if a party is very low total. Best case, you have awesome parties, they all hold, and you make more money, which is even better because then you can put it into savings or into your Puromance account. So that is kind of a quick overview of how I do my party planning. Very basic, like I said, I use the spreadsheet to keep track of it. I'm actually going to pull it up real quick to show you. And that way you can see how I do it. It's just part of Google Docs. If you're not familiar with it, if you're a Gmail account user, Google Docs is basically the cloud version for you to store all your documents. So if your computer was to ever crash, it's all accessible from the cloud. So I am pulling it up right now and I'll show you how I do mine. I'll actually pull my personal one up, not the blank one. and I will share my screen. All right, here's my party planning tracker. So, well, I guess I have last names in here. Everybody pretend you don't see the last names. So this is how I do it. If she doesn't have Facebook, I put NA. If I've sent her the link, which I apparently haven't for this person and I need to, I will put done or the date. These are all the red stamps I showed you guys, so it tracks when I sent them out. I now am using a program to schedule some of my text messages to make my life easier. So if you're a Verizon user, Message Plus is a way to schedule your text messages. So I'm trying this out and seeing how it works, and hopefully it makes things a lot easier and streamlines things. So this is very basic. It is nothing fancy. This is just how I do it. I've actually had printed this out before, and it didn't work for me. I actually didn't like how sloppy my handwriting was for it, and it didn't pan out. So now it is just a Google Doc. I can pull it up wherever I'm at, and makes my life so much easier. So with that, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to open things up for Q&A. I'm going to unmute you ladies, so it might get a little loud at first, so just bear with me. And we'll start it for questions. So who has questions for me? Don't you all jump at once at me. Was it helpful? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me what they learned most. What do you think the key takeaways that you learned from this? Amy House. Oh God, I'm going to butcher your last name. Amy, what did you take away from this?
Hey, I'm here, but I don't have much of a voice. I don't know if you
Oh
can
my
hear me
God,
at
of
all.
course I picked the person who has no
So can
voice.
you call on somebody else?
Okay, you know what? Just don't worry about it, girlfriend. I'll pick somebody else.
I'm so sorry.
Angie Stone, what did you take away from it?
Just communicating by text message. I think that would make it a lot easier. I mean, you can send that at any time on the go. You don't have to be sitting down and putting a lot of thought into it. That was helpful.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier when you have multiple channels to connect with them too. Who else has got stuff for me? Who else took something away? You guys are so quiet. It makes it weird.
45.
All right, ladies. So any other things you struggle with that I didn't touch on? Like, do you struggle with the whole party planning part of this? Anything you feel you need help with or that's not your strong suit? You can be honest. It's okay. Don't make me call on people. I'll do it.
I know I have problems.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I know I have problems with Facebook, like my VIP. It's not really. I added like tons of people, and only like 5 people are looking at it. So,
Is that for a party or for your private group on Facebook?
like my private group.
Okay. So with the private group, it takes some time to build up. So something you can do is like every party, when you like put your first post up about the tickets, I would recommend tagging your VIP group and giving them 3 tickets if they add themselves to that group. So if you don't want to be Facebook friends with them, but you want to direct them to that group, that's what I would do. And then the more people you get in there, the more people will start to see it over time. Groups are nice because they, in theory, get notifications every time you post unless they change their notifications. So just be patient with it. I know you're fairly new. It sucks. Like as women especially, we are super impatient. It'll build up over time. The more parties you do, the more people you meet. Any specials you run in there and you tag it in your regular Facebook page, it'll build it up over time.
Okay.
Who else has got something for me? Give me it. I got nothing else to do. You girls my whole night right here.
Devin here. How long do you pursue someone after a party? Like they're interested in hosting a party or being a consultant, and So like you do your 2-day checkup on them, but maybe not get a hold of them because I texted my last 2-day checkup instead of calling, so that's kind of still hard for me. But I texted them, and she said she needed to ask her wife when the date would happen. But how long do I pursue her? It's coming up on my 2-week check. Do I keep asking up until my 2-month check, or just kind of stop pursuing her after 2 weeks?
I think it kind of depends on how much you talk to her also.
First time I ever met her.
Okay. So what I would do is the 2-week check, be like, hey girl, are you still thinking about having a ladies night? Or bring up how much fun it was at the party. Like, oh my gosh, girl, wasn't it so much fun at that party? How are your products working for you? And see what she says back to you. Then if she responds, be like, girl, we still need to do your own party. I've got a couple dates left. Would this date or this date work for you? And then even at the 2-month check-in, like, I would still hit it up again and be like, hey girl, we still haven't partied. It's summertime. We should do a pool party or a barbecue party or a sangria Sunday party. Throw out a theme. Same thing like I said before. Just because Cole sends you a coupon doesn't mean you run and shop there right away. It's just maybe that she's forgotten about it. She's forgotten how much fun she had at the party. So you just kind of got to remind her and put her back in that mindset. I have people that have said they would have a party with me, and 3 years later they still haven't. So it's just about having your funnel full of other people. She can't be your main focus, but definitely keep her in your loop.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, ladies. Anybody else who's got questions for me? Do you ladies want the red stamps that I showed you?
Yes, please.
Awesome. I will make an album of them in Stacy's team. For you guys, I'll make a team photo album under her group. For my girls, most of them are already in the Team Paint Collars page under the photo albums as well. So I'll post all those. I'll post the blank tracker as well, so you can steal that and use all of it. And then corporate has some that they also have posted as well under training tab from the January Empowerment Summit. All right, ladies, last chance for any other questions before we log off for the night. All right. You ladies have fun. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me and invest in your business. I really appreciate it. It's always so refreshing when you see a bunch of people on the call and it's not just you by yourself sitting alone with your cats. So thank you, ladies. You have a good night, and I will talk to you all soon.